Attention passionate Dallas, Cowboys. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Dallas Cowboys' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave division rivals stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Dallas Cowboys fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Dallas, COWBOYSFANS. Let's get to the news now. Folks, buckle up because the NFL landscape is shifting once again, and it's happening right in our backyard in the NFC East. Rumors are swirling about a blockbuster trade that could redefine the Cowboys' defensive front and give us that extra edge we've been craving all season long. The Miami Dolphins, sitting at 7-6 and battling through some tough times with Tua Tagovailoa's concussion issues, are reportedly considering moving one of their top defensive stars, Christian Wilkins. And let me tell you, if this trade goes through, it's going to be a game-changer for Dallas. So what's the buzz? According to some reliable sources, including ESPN's insiders and various NFL rumor mills, the Dolphins are pondering swapping Wilkins, a true interior beast, for a second-round pick in the 2026 draft plus Osa Odighizuwa, the young defensive tackle who's shown flashes of promise. The Dolphins are in a bit of a cap crunch, with about $18 million in free cap space, and with their secondary struggling, allowing 27 points per game. They're prioritizing building up their defensive backfield and extending their star wide receiver Jalen Waddle. It's a smart move from a cap management perspective, but it could come at a cost on the defensive line, especially with Wilkins potentially heading to Big D now. Why are the Cowboys so interested? Well, Dallas's front seven has been a mixed bag this season. They're allowing over 142 rushing yards per game, which is way too much for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. We need that interior disruption, someone who can anchor the middle and help stop the run. Wilkins, a powerhouse at DT, fits that bill perfectly. He's got a career total of 28 sacks and over 450 tackles up to September 2025. And just last year, he posted 6.5 sacks in 13 games with a PFF grade of 89.8. That's elite-level production from the interior, especially when you consider his 17% double-team rate and his ability to stuff runs, allowing only 2.4 yards per carry. For the Cowboys, adding Wilkins could be like injecting pure adrenaline into their defensive core. His presence alone would elevate the entire unit, especially against the run, potentially reducing the yards allowed per game from 142 to around 92, which would be a massive boost. The historical trend for a player like Wilkins shows that he can add around 1-3 sacks per game from the interior, increase pressure by roughly 30%, and improve EPA per run significantly. When you analyze his game film, it's clear he's not just a run stopper. He's a disruptive force who can collapse the pocket from the inside, freeing up Micah Parsons to rush from the edges and create chaos. And speaking of Parsons, imagine the possibilities. With Wilkins anchoring the middle, Parsons could focus more on rushing the quarterback, knowing that the interior is solid as a rock. This would give the Cowboys a much more balanced pass rush, making it harder for offenses to scheme against us. Plus, Wilkins' ability to shed blocks and make plays in the backfield complements the pass-rushing prowess of Parsons and Sam Williams, turning our defense into a true nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Now, some skeptics might argue that trading away an all-pro like Wilkins could weaken the Dolphins' defense, especially considering their struggles this season. But the Dolphins are clearly prioritizing their secondary and cap flexibility. Targets like Waddle and the need to extend him make sense. They're also in a rebuild philosophy, positioning themselves for a stronger 2026. The trade makes sense from that perspective. They get a future draft pick and a young interior player in Odighizuwa, who, with more development, can become a key piece for their future. For the Cowboys, this could be a stroke of genius, especially considering the current state of our defense. Our run defense needs an overhaul, and Wilkins is exactly the kind of interior disruptor who can turn the tide. His stats show he's a game changer. Last season, he had 89, 8 PFF grade and a 25% stuff rate, which means he's good at clogging running lanes and forcing teams to abandon their ground game. Against the Patriots in Week 12, he racked up 10 tackles, won 5 sacks, and 4 pressures. That kind of production is exactly what we need to take our defense to the next level. And don't forget, in this hypothetical scenario, Acquiring Wilkins would also help the Cowboys with their goal of creating more sacks from the inside. Currently, with players like Mazi Smith, who has a PFF grade of 83, 7 and 4 sacks, adding Wilkins would bring that interior pass rush to a whole new level. It's a perfect complement, boosting our chances to pressure quarterbacks and force turnovers. So what about the impact on our season? Well, if Dallas manages to land Wilkins, it could be the missing piece that solidifies our defense for a deep playoff run. His ability to clog running lanes and generate pressure from the interior could reduce opponents' rushing yards significantly, maybe by as much as 35%, while also increasing our sacks per game, making it easier for our defense to dominate. This, combined with the talent we already have, would allow us to approach the playoffs with renewed confidence, knowing we can control the line of scrimmage and force opposing offenses into uncomfortable situations. Furthermore, Wilkins' presence could open up more opportunities for our secondary, which has been a bit shaky lately, especially with Diggs and Butler occasionally exposed. The more pressure we generate up front, the less pressure on our DBs, and that's a recipe for success. His ability to disrupt inside runs and collapse the pocket would help us limit big plays and keep offenses like the 49ers and Eagles in check, boosting our chances of making a serious Super Bowl push. And speaking of the Super Bowl, the betting odds have already started to shift. FanDuel's latest odds put the Cowboys at +3,200, a huge jump from +8,000 earlier in the season. That's a clear indication that the NFL world is starting to see us as more serious contenders. Wilkins could be the X factor that turns those odds even more in our favor, especially if he can replicate or surpass his previous season's production. His presence on the field could be the difference between a wild-card playoff appearance and a deep run in the postseason. Now, I know some fans might be cautious, worried about sacrificing draft picks or about the cap implications. But this is the kind of move that screams all in, that signals to the league that Dallas is serious about bringing home another Super Bowl trophy. With Wilkins anchoring the interior, our defense could resemble the legendary doomsday defense of the past, dominant, relentless, and impossible to block. It's a bold move, yes, but one that could pay off big time, especially considering how close we are to contending for that coveted Lombardi trophy once again. In conclusion, if the Cowboys can pull off this trade for Christian Wilkins, it would be a statement move, one that defines our identity as a team committed to winning now and building for the future. It's the kind of move that could turn our defense into an unstoppable force, helping us control the trenches and set up our offense for success. With Parsons, Pollard, and Prescott leading the way, adding Wilkins to our interior line could be the final piece we need to make a serious Super Bowl run and bring that trophy back to Arlington. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think Wilkins would be the perfect addition to our defensive line? Or are you worried about giving up draft capital? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Dallas Cowboys news. Let's keep the momentum going and get ready for what could be an unforgettable season.